Well, hello, my beautiful Gemini. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using guide chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, I've just opened up the competition for one subscriber to win a free personal reading from me, but I'll let you know how to win that a little bit later on because some people are here just for the reading and I don't like to waste anyone's time. So with that in mind, let's get straight to your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Gemini, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading is going to tap into what you're moving through at this moment in time and of course what lies on the other side. So let's get straight to it. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Gemini? What are they moving through at this moment in time? Can you please show them the way? What lies ahead for my beautiful Gemini? What have they been dealing with and what lies on the other side of that? So the first card is the Knight of Cups. You're following your heart, trying to you're trying to romance your life a little bit more, be more open to what life has to offer. I feel like you're inviting yourself to open your arms to the whole of yourself right now. I feel like you may have been under a little bit of pressure recently and perhaps you are trying to encompass your needs. There's an energy here of if you have neglected your own needs, you're trying to factor yourself in a little bit more. And I feel like you're encouraged to find variety as a spice of life in your everyday circumstances. How would you like to receive? Yeah, so we have the Nine of Swords there as a crossing card. We have the Page of Wands there, trying to, be more positive, be more adventurous in life. Easier said than done, I know, of course, because of course life is very challenging. Nine of Swords is a crossing position, so some of you, it can be that perhaps you've been having trouble sleeping recently and you're trying to find a little bit more balance, perhaps take a little bit more care of yourself before bedtime in order to have a more quality night's sleep, as it were. But I feel it's more than that. I feel like you have something on your mind. In fact, I feel like you have many things going on whirling around that beautiful brain of yours, and it can be that some of those thoughts trigger anxiety, maybe fears of the future, the uncertainty of what is to come and the path that you're on. But actually I see a lot of you, there is this energy of you trying to be a little bit kinder to yourself, especially with the Nine of Swords. This can be the inner critic being super critical upon yourself. And the energy indicates you're shining a spotlight on the way that you talk to yourself, trying to build yourself up, fall in love with yourself, rather than tear yourself down with negative thoughts. I will tap in a little bit deeper there. How would you like to receive? We have a Six of Wands. Ooh, so you could have something on your mind here which you are trying to conquer or be successful in. You're going to have raging success in that area. I want you to be aware of that, so actually there's nothing to worry about here. I feel like some of you, there is this energy of you like showing up in life, doing what you can to enjoy yourself. Of course, there's challenges. There's always challenges with life. But you may feel unappreciated or that you go unnoticed in some way. But the Six of Wands indicates you will be truly seen and appreciated for who you are in all your glory and how you're showing up for yourself. A lot of you are tapping into your hopes and dreams right now. There's so much potential there, and there's definitely a brighter future ahead for you. But you could be trying to remove energy blocks, or, really tap into this sense of potential in order to have like new ideas, be inspired. You're reaching for joy. You're trying to be happy in life. You're trying to perhaps make life a little more simple. Step away from drama. Move away from situations that don't align with you anymore. The Magician card indicates you're actually in a period of stepping into your personal power, that you are enough, that everything you need in life to tackle life in general is within you. And it can be that you are looking at what it is you aspire to achieve. You're looking at your plans and how they are working out there. I mean, the Five of Swords, a little bit of conflict, a little bit of tension. Sometimes, when we feel comfortable in life, we get into a structure or routine. Being comfortable is nice. We like it, okay, as humans. But it can be that that's when you start to feel a bit frustrated, that you want to challenge yourself in some way. But also I feel like that Five of Swords there, it indicates an energy of feeling a little bit anxious or nervous. And we've got the Hierophant. This is about having faith, especially during times where you feel challenged. I feel like you're moving through the challenge. I feel the Hierophant energy is all about structure. I mean, because the Hierophant can be a card of society, it can be right now that, you're trying to focus on your dreams and goals, and it's hard. And you feel energy outside of yourself right now, where there is, new things occurring, new structures. There's an energy here with that Two of Wands of you feeling a bit frustrated. And the Seven of Pentacles, you're feeling fed up. Maybe you feel society has lost its way, or it feels a little bit soulless right now, and you're really connecting to your heart space in response to what's going on outside of yourself. Because your first card there, of course, is the Knight of Cups. And the cup starts for the self first. So this can be, that you are attracting more good things in your life by trying to be more positive. Easier said than done, I know. I mean, your advice to yourself in this moment is the Seven of Pentacles. You're looking at areas where you feel a bit fed up, or where things are developing really nicely, things that perhaps you want to move away from, or take an alternative path, a new strategy in some way. But you're starting with the heart first. So you're tapping into your heart to see where you can romance your life a little bit more, or connect to more fun things, and be softer with yourself. Step into your sensitive side there, or, lean into your feelings a little bit more. This is a card that indicates, an energy of you inviting yourself to learn more about yourself, and, throw your arms open to all of yourself, like even the unfinished parts of yourself, or the parts of yourself perhaps that you've learnt to love along the way, because we all have those moments, you could be learning, because I'm being given this energy, and this is not going to resonate with all of you, but it can be that if you have had scars, it's like you're learning to love yourself despite the scars. I feel, if you've gone through some challenging times as well, this could be that it has scarred your soul, and you're loving yourself harder because you're someone who's a warrior, you've shown up. But I feel, you're overcoming something here to love yourself a little bit deeper there. And of course, if you have physical scars, this can be that you are looking at how it makes you unique, that you are different. You're not, in some way set apart from other people, but you are loving your uniqueness. And how, if you think about nature, for example, every creature is, different. Even if you've got like a tiger, for example, they have beautiful stripes, right? But they all are formed in a different way. It sets them apart. It makes them different. So I feel like you have, in some way, and this is what I'm being given by my guides, you've been marked for greatness. But, the greatest people of our time may have gone through some struggle, or some challenges, or some plight. And you are loving that you are who you are, and you're wearing the experiences that you've had with pride. If you think about knights, they go out there and they challenge, you step up. You are someone who is perhaps trying to fall in love with your life, but you're refining your goals, you're looking at your experiences, you've learnt a lot of things from those experiences, and you're reflecting on how far you've come. But, knights, they wear suit of armors. It's like a battle. You may have felt that you've been in a battleground in some way. And for some of you, with that Nine of Swords, it can even be the battleground of the mind, of how you feel about something or how you feel about yourself. Because, of course, the starting card is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is to, kind of learn a little bit more about yourself. You are in a period of self-love, of knowledge, of, kind of reflecting on who you are and what you want. There's a heightened emotion with this card where you become super aware to fall in love with yourself, despite the things that you've experienced or challenges that have come to try and knock you down. I feel like you constantly show up, you invest so much in your life, and I feel right now you're stepping into an alignment with something you're wishing for, something that you feel has been closed off to you for some time, but actually you're aligning with it, and there are great things to come for you. And it says here, romantic, following one's heart, and idealistic. Now, of course, with the Nine of Swords crossing, because it can be that, you want to be super positive, but sometimes those thoughts come in, or sometimes, there's a lot of challenge. I feel like you have a lot on your mind and certainly a lot on your to-do list, and you may feel extra pressure. A lot of you are learning to take care of yourself, especially your mental well-being. This could be that your focus at this time is quietening the inner critic, so that you be more compassionate with yourself with that Knight of Cups there, falling in love with all aspects of your life. But also, this can be that you're looking at things from the past that challenged you, because Nine of Swords can be an energy of being haunted by a situation and maybe even a conversation or an experience. And it can be that you're trying to resolve some things in your life that have been like super hard. And of course, is healing. It is about acknowledgement that, you deserve that brighter future ahead. You're evolving and elevating despite the circumstances that have tried to tear you down. Because knights tend to indicate, there's been a bit of a battle there. Some of you may have battled away with your emotions on how you feel about something or how you feel about someone or an experience. And for some of you, this could also be, how you feel about yourself. With that Nine of Swords, this is an energy of like shifting self-negative talk, for example. It's in a crossing position. I have to honor it as it is. So I feel right now you may be noticing when you talk negatively about yourself, especially when you're under pressure, because you have that Five of Swords there. You may be catching yourself saying certain things to yourself, and you're like, if someone else ever said that to your face, you wouldn't take it. You'd call them out. You'd battle away with them and say, hey, you can't talk to me like that. How dare you? You'd really put them in their place. So I feel with that Nine of Swords, it's you asking yourself, why do I feel like it's okay to talk about myself in that way? You may be just witnessing or noticing when you tear yourself down, when you're extra critical upon yourself during moments of pressure. And especially if things do not align with the way that you hoped them to be aligning with you at that moment in time, sometimes you may kind of doubt yourself or feel like, oh, I didn't get that opportunity because I'm not good enough, or, I didn't get a relationship because I'm not lovable. The universe is saying, I'm aligning you with what is right for you. And in order to align you with something that is right for you, I need to remove some stuff from your life. So if, for example, an opportunity that you feel, oh, this is perfect, I really want this, and the universe says, no, not this one, it often means there's something better ahead for you. It means something that's more aligned with your wishes. Don't settle for what you feel is right for you in this moment when there could be more available to you because you deserve more. Also, the same with love. For example, if you feel like love has not been delivered to you in this moment, and with that Knight of Cups, a lot of you are actually attracting love, a soulmate in. It can be that, with that Nine of Swords, you're starting to see that you are unique, and actually, a special person is going to be aligned with you in your life, and the universe does not want you to settle or does not want you to align with certain people who long-term are not going to walk the full journey with you. Yes, we all learn lessons, and we'll meet people for a reason or a season, you know. So I feel if you have had, you know, an experience in love in the past, because that Knight of Cups is an energy here where you may have been in a relationship that you thought was perfect, okay? And nothing is ever perfect, of course, but some of you could be navigating a breakup or, you know, navigating some challenging feelings at this time about a previous experience in love. You may have loved and lost. This card could be a card of grief, of sadness, of challenge, you know, being haunted by a previous experience or a previous conversation. And it can be something that you're not allowing to get you down, because it is in a crossing position, so you're freeing yourself up from this, but it can be that you're on a course of healing so that you can step into your power, your best self, and elevate despite, you know, these challenges, whatever these challenges are. A lot of you, the challenge, because this reading is meant to be about yourself, but of course that can be about things outside of yourself that affect you. So if you feel like opportunities for love were better in the past, or you were in a relationship in the past where you fully engaged in love and thought someone was just perfect for you, it can be that, you know, you worry as to whether you're going to meet someone new. And that Page of Wands indicates that you're going to meet a loyal partner, someone who's adventurous, someone who aligns with you. I mean, I love this card. It's so beautiful, okay? But as you can see, those two beautiful flamingos are actually like looking in different directions, okay? And as you can see here on the earthly plane position, we've got two beautiful Bastet figurines there that are facing each other. So it can be that, you know, you had to let go of a way of thinking about a certain relationship to get closure in order for someone new to come on in that aligns with you, someone that is sent to you that is perfect and actually ticks all the boxes of a relationship that you desire to be in. For some of you, this could also be opportunities that you feel were more aligned with you in the past, but it didn't go your way. But the universe says, don't worry, because whatever it is you want to commit to, because this is a card of commitment, it will be made available to you. Don't worry about it. The Hierophant is actually a marriage card, so it can indicate that if you're looking for love, you may even be married in the future. If you want to get married, that's of course not everyone's cup of tea. It can be that, you know, that's your prerogative, whether you want to be married or not, but you'll certainly settle down with a person there. But, you know, this could also be like a contract on a deal or an opportunity. I feel something is being made available to you because your foundation card is, you know, something that is gifted. You know, Knight of Cups offers. So I feel it could be a really exciting offer coming on in shortly, something that you're enthusiastic about, curious about. And of course, this can cause you to overthink it with that Nine of Swords, whether it's a relationship or an opportunity or a change or a new way of life. Nine of Swords can be that, you know, you've got something on your mind and you're overthinking, overanalyzing, maybe a little bit anxious there, or not wanting to make the wrong move if you're having to make a decision. But you're going to make the right decision, and there's a lot of success here. But bringing it back to self, because this reading is about the self, Knight of Cups, I feel like you are learning to just see yourself with new eyes there. And the Nine of Swords, anxiety, hopelessness, and trauma. This is a crossing position. So some of you may have felt, especially in the last couple of years, that you've been on like fight or flight mode or in a trauma response, or you felt a little bit detached from things that you used to love. And it feels like part of you may have lain dormant, or you feel like you've lost touch with a part of yourself and you're trying to reconnect in some way. But whatever you have dealt with, because this is a card of challenge, whether it is something that's on your mind that you have grappled with, or whether this is an experience that you're haunted by, or something that you consciously are aware that affects your mood or makes you feel anxious, this is a card that's in the crossing position, which indicates recovery. It means new start. It means moving on. And for some of you, it can be that you're forgiving something from the past. Okay, and maybe even forgiving a part of yourself for staying too long in something, or, you know, not making a decision quicker. You know, we do not forgive a past person or a past situation just to let them off the hook. We actually forgive a situation to lighten our own karmic load so that that heavy baggage does not weigh us down as we move forward on our path. It is actually something that sets us free. So I feel a lot of you could be going through a healing process. And if that's you, I'm sending a huge hug out there, because it looks like with that Nine of Swords, you've gone through something that has been truly challenging indeed and weighs heavy on your mind. But this card, the earthly plane position, it indicates that you are, enthusiastic to get out there and experience new things. There is an energy with this card of you being a catalyst for change. So I guess it can be that you can remain in fight or flight mode, and easier said than done. I know there's a process that you will go through in order to heal. For some of you, it could be that you're reaching out to a counselor or, some sort of therapist who can help you, for example. But this could also be that you feel a decision needs to be made. Either I continue to be in this thought process, or I set myself free and connect to my passions and, go out there and be a free spirit, explore new things. I feel this is a very explorative card for you, where, you are free from some sort of challenge, or you're very close to being that catalyst for change, to making that happen. A new kind of path is on offer for you, or a new way of living, a new lifestyle choice. I mean, it says here exploration, excitement, and freedom. So I feel there is this energy perhaps in some of you, and I'm just going to say it like this, okay? This is not going to resonate with all of you, but I'm being given this energy in a world that tries to make you kind of overanalyze and focus on perhaps sometimes the negative aspects of self, especially when we aspire for perfectionism. So for example, like if you look at all the magazines out there, there's people who are airbrushed. They look perfect, okay? The icons, as it were, or legends, or the really well-known people who are celebrated in our society as doing something that's in the public eye, for example, they all look perfect, And it can be that sometimes we look at that image of perfection, as it were, or what society says is perfection, and it's almost like an act of rebellion is to love yourself harder and say, actually, I am my authentic self, and I don't need to aspire to that level of perfectionism that the world or society is trying to structure. So it can be that you're loving yourself in a different way and saying, actually, I am authentic, I'm true, I am me, and I'm not aspiring to a certain level of perfectionism that puts a lot of pressure on my shoulders. Because you are naturally very attractive. You are naturally someone who has a beautiful heart. And I feel like you're tapping into things that matter right now. And almost as an act of rebellion, you are loving yourself harder, seeing yourself in a different way, and not allowing anything or anybody to tear you down, including yourself. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this duality there. And again, that may not resonate with all of you, but that's something that's coming through for some of you, okay? So that's very strong there. I mean, a lot of you with that Knight of Cups, there's something you would love to do, and the Page of Wands can indicate that you're in an explorative time where you're gathering information. What I see here is some news coming in that you will celebrate, and with that Six of Wands, there's a victory or overcoming something that you battle away on or has caused you anxiety. But the Page of Wands is a new lease of life. It's all about energy as well. So I feel there's a radical change going on here for you, where you are maybe even so fed up of being in fight or flight mode, especially over the last couple of years. The things that we've gone through collectively in the world, it can be that there's just a lot of negative energy, a lot of clickbait, a lot of anxiety, a lot of change, and you're really coming back to your center and focusing on what's important at this time and fostering a relationship with yourself where you want to go out and have adventures. Easier said than done. I know the world is very challenging and we all have to show up and have responsibilities and all of that stuff. But this card can indicate that you want to be free. You have a life that you aspire to achieve and you have desires. This is a card of finding your purpose in all of this and, really valuing yourself in a different way. The Page of Wands is someone who is eager to act, get out there, explore, is wanting to be a little bit more spontaneous in life, wanting to take more risks, calculated risks, of course. But I feel like you're aligning with something here that you will celebrate. You may feel that life got pretty serious, or you felt that, you've been a little bit in between worlds for a little bit, and it just feels like you're aspiring to accomplish something right now, and it's been hard, but you are going to see the results, that you're heading in the right direction. Now, the King of Cups is an energy in the past. I actually feel like the more that you mature, the younger you look, but also I feel like this is about tapping into your childlike spirit, your sense of wonder. The world, as we mature, tries to harden our hearts. The experiences we have, the responsibilities, it grinds us down. But I feel like you are tapping into that passionate zest for life where you're like, no, I'm not going to allow it to ground me down in any shape or form. I feel there's this energy of you shining your light, being your best self, and not allowing anyone or anything to drain your energy. I feel you're stepping into a new period of life where you're just curious. Like, what if I do that? What if I try this out? What if I don't do that anymore? What is the effect? What's going on? I feel like you're looking at your options right now and choosing happiness, choosing an energy of joy. And it says here, emotional control, heart and head balance. Okay, so interesting that heart and head balance is in your past position because these two cards are heart and head. So it can be that perhaps you felt in the past you were better at managing some intrusive thoughts, or perhaps you felt that you were not so aware of the intrusive thoughts than you are now, because the spotlight is clarity, it is seeing something as it is. So it can be that you feel that life has changed in such a way that you're seeing things differently. Also, for some of you, you may feel it was easier to follow a path that your heart yearned for, whether that's in terms of a career or whether it's in terms of love. You just felt it was easier in the past or more fulfilling in the past. But actually, brighter times lie ahead, and whatever it is you're committed to, you will align with your truth, your authenticity, but also a wish. You will feel fulfilled in your desires. And actually, there is more to celebrate in your future. A lot of you may feel that things were just more supportive in the past, or people were more supportive because, of course, you have a Knight of Cups here and a King of Cups. This can be that, there was a sense of unity in the past, whereas now it feels more fractured than ever. So some of you could be looking at what you see is going on right now and who you desire to be in response to the world around you. So if you feel like society has lost its way, has felt really soulless, you're doing more things that connect you to your soul, your sense of purpose, your heart space. You're responding in a different way. It's like if there is something lacking in a certain area, you're going to be more of that so that you can feel completely fulfilled in your circumstances. Now, your potential position, which means you're aligned with a wish, but also it indicates that you're shining your light. It's taken you a while to really shine in all your glory. You may have felt that circumstances or people tried to dull your shine. I feel like you're stepping into your greatness right now after a period of it feeling really heavy there. And I also feel like you're holding yourself to higher standards and you're not willing to accept, the status quo. I feel like you're reaching for more. And I feel there is hope, there is joy, there's serenity. And, I feel, as I mentioned, the more mature you get, the more attractive you get. And actually, you don't look your age. You're someone who is young at heart. You're very youthful. And it says here, joy, success, and celebration. So this is a potential. And this means you're unlocking that potential for success and joy. You're overcoming something that perhaps you're worrying about. Now, this can be that you are reaching for something or testing yourself or have felt tested. You may have felt that things have been confusing. You've lacked faith on something, or you're trying to reaffirm your faith on something. But I feel like the universe is coming through for you, and I feel like you align with something that you're committed to achieving. And I feel you'll create a platform or structure where you feel secure in those circumstances there. I mean, of course, is a spotlight. So it can be that you're looking at the finer details in your life, but also this is an energy of going through a period of growth, being calm in circumstances that normally you feel a little bit anxious about. I mean, this card is literally a dream come true. So whenever you want to achieve something or aspire to conquer something or accomplish something, there, of course, we're going to feel anxiety because you care so much. You have so many water cards, major ones at that. You have a King of Cups and you have the Knight of Cups. You care so much. You invest so much of yourself in every single thing that you do. I'm not surprised to see the Nine of Swords there because, you care. That means you're going to have heightened emotions, heightened anxiety in case it doesn't go the way you hoped. But the outcome indicates that you are going to have faith, back yourself, and things are going to turn out as you plan, especially since the Sword is there. The Five of Swords indicates there's always going to be tension. There's always going to be worry. And, I feel sometimes it's really important to recognize that when we feel comfortable in life, and I think my guides were trying to give me this at the beginning, but I didn't quite grasp it. But my guides are giving it now. It's like when we feel comfortable in life, it's not that we coast. We're just like, okay, it's nice. It's nice where we're at, and you get to a certain level in life, and then you start to aspire to more. Suddenly you start to feel anxious. The Five of Swords can be a shaper of worlds. If you think about all the times in your life where you change something about your life, it's because you felt frustrated with the way things have gotten or the way things presented themselves. You felt actually something needs to change. And this card is a catalyst for change. And I feel like you're changing something or exploring a new path or excited about an idea or something that you have a lot of energy and enthusiasm on that aligns with the wish, and you're going to see it all come to light. But it started with that level of feeling frustrated with the way things are. Because, tension can be a shaper of worlds. It can be an indication from your body, actually, the way things are right now, it's not working. Or, yep, okay, I wanted this and I got this, but maybe it's not everything that you wanted it to be. It feels like you're opening that door to more right now, and it's been challenging, but now you're challenging yourself to step up, and that door is going to be open. So as you can see here, we've got this card, the door is closed there, but this is the potential position, which means the door to whatever it is you aspire to accomplishing is opening up for you. But you had to see yourself as worthy of this opportunity or this experience. You had to really heal parts of yourself to prepare space for this good stuff to come on in. Because sometimes we can grapple with our sense of value. And whilst you are valuing yourself, loving yourself in a deeper way, sometimes we accept less than we truly deserve and desire, especially when we second guess ourselves or we feel like more is not achievable. And you may have done that in the past. You may have accepted less than you truly deserve and desire. You may have even held on to something or someone for too long. And I feel that now you're not going to be doing that as you move forward. It was a process to learn about letting go or learning about, situations that perhaps preyed on your mind, because the Nine of Swords is something that is worrying in the back of your mind saying, okay, we need to change this, or this isn't right, or this isn't going well, or we need to look at this. I mean, Nine of Swords can be anguish. It can be nightmares. It can be regret. It can be bewilderment, worry, sleepless nights for some of you. And, when you apply it to the world, for example, it can be that you're bewildered. How did we get to this place? How is it that, there's a lot of tension and conflict, and there seems to be new things coming on in that we're having to navigate, and you're kind of wondering with that energy, what's the next step? Like, I feel the next step is actually you locking on more to your sense of purpose and aligning with what your heart truly desires in your life. You're zooming in to what brings you joy. Of course, there's always going to be tension and conflict outside of yourself and in the world at large. I hope for that day where that is not occurring, but it's going to be a process towards that. And there will be a brighter time ahead, of course, but I feel you're doing your bit to change the circumstances as much as you can, but you're locking on to what your heart yearns for and what brings you joy, okay? So we have this Six of Wands energy. Six of Wands in your near future, celebrating yourself, but also celebrating a win, a victory, either conquering something. For a lot of you, with the cards that you have, you could be detoxifying at this moment in time. You could be decluttering your mind, but I feel this is a card of being recognized for your greatness. And also, this is a card of going that extra mile, achieving your goals. I mean, this could be a promotion, could be a qualification, could also be that you're seeing the results of something that you've invested in, that you like spontaneously started to explore. But I feel a lot of you, the more spontaneous you are, or the more you take calculated risks, I feel like you're opening yourself up to this sense of adventure. But also, I feel like you are aligning yourself with, success. I really feel there's success with this card. I mean, this is also a card of overcoming a difficulty or a challenging time. And I feel a lot of you are recognizing your achievements, how far you've come despite the challenges. But I feel more than anything, because that Nine of Swords is present, I feel a lot of you are conquering your thoughts, mastering your thoughts to build you up rather than tear yourself down, okay? And for some of you with that Hierophant energy, if you're in a relationship with a person and there's been a lot of conflict there, I mean, at the core of the relationship, there's a lot of love, okay? But it can be that you and your person got into a cycle of repeat. It's not that you're taking each other for granted, as it were. It just feels like some of you, you've aligned to a position where you know each other so well. You could probably even finish each other's sentences, right? And it's like you are seeing your person in a new light, or I feel you could dig a little bit deeper, talk about hopes and fears for the future. Maybe you both feel, okay, we're heading in the same direction, so you probably know how I feel about these things. But there could be a really deep, honest, raw conversation with your person that unlocks how they fear certain things for the future, or their hopes for the future. And it can be that you're like on the same page and you fall in love with each other all over again, because you're both being so open and raw with each other and remembering why you fell in love with each other in the first place. So that's coming through there as well. But I feel because you have that Two of Wands, you're planning something, or you have plans in motion, and you feel that you've been working so hard that you're in the same place in some way, and it feels like you're not moving forward. But the universe is going to throw you a plot twist where suddenly something that you've aspired to achieve, you're seeing it all come together, and you're starting to see undeniable evidence that your hard work is paying off, okay? It feels like it's connected to something that you would love to happen, or you've been wishing to happen, or has a lot of potential for, stability, structure, and happiness in your life. I feel like you're committed to something, and those plans that you've committed to, yes, you care so much, that's why you're going to be worried about it, but actually it turns out better than you expected, okay? Now it says here as well, victory, success, and public reward. Now, of course, if you're someone who wants to be in the public eye, I feel this is a really strong message to never forget your core, the reason for doing what you're doing, okay? Because the Hierophant can indicate that people love what you do, but they try to fit you into a little box of their expectation. So it's like they're taking the raw talent of you, and then they're going, okay, but this is how it's normally done. So whilst we love what you're about, let's try and fit you into a mold of what works. And you're like, you know what? I'm the mold. I'm what works. That's why you kind of are attracted to my vision or my talent or whatever it is. I feel this is like a message of be wary of anybody who's trying to make you fit into their little box of expectation. Whether this is, you being in the public eye, most of you may not be in the public eye, of course. This could be like in your own environment. Maybe a person has a certain expectation on you and you're like, you know what, I'm being my independent self, I'm shining my light. Actually you're falling in love with your life and you are trying to be you, your authentic self, not a version of you that other people expect you to be, as it were. So for example, if you're an artist, right, and you're incredibly talented at what you do and you're being seen by people in positions of authority with that Hierophant energy, it can be that they love what you're about, they love your style, but they're like, you know what, if you could make it a little bit more like this, or I'll represent you if you do more work like this. Even if you're a musician, it can be like, okay, what's your niche? And you're like, well, I like to explore. I like to shake things up a little bit, because this can be that you are open to exploring, or, you have a certain style but perhaps someone is trying to lock you into a certain niche or a little pigeonhole box of what they can maybe sell in terms of public reward. So I can get this energy for a lot of you, especially if you are an influencer or you're someone who has, creative talent and you're trying to get it out there. Remember why you started in the first place, what you love about your vision, and don't allow anyone to influence your vision away from the very core of yourself. Okay, so that's coming out. That's really random. That's not going to resonate with everyone, but my guides gave that to me, especially when it comes to being in the public eye. I mean, this card indicates you're going to be seen. Okay, you're definitely going to be seen in all your glory. So if you are aspiring to be in the public arena in some way, you will be an influencer. You will be seen. There's going to be a lot of success around you. But remember why you started it in the first place. And of course, I would say some people will try to win at all costs, and they will try to change your version of you to fit a certain mold that they feel they can manipulate, because you have a 5 of Swords there, okay? So I just want you to be aware of that. Now also, this can be, an energy of how moments of struggle, challenge, or worry can manipulate how you feel about a situation or your thoughts, and those thoughts can tear you down. So a lot of you, you're conquering those thoughts at this time, and you're not allowing doubt, fear, anxiety to rule your mind. I feel like you are someone who is freeing yourself up and allowing yourself to be you in all your glory with this card. Now, your advice to yourself in this moment, 7 of Pentacles. You're working hard, you're diligent, you're persevering on something, whatever that something is. And it can indicate that you are trying to be very independent. You're opening yourself up to something new. This is a card of being at a crossroads where you feel surely there's a better way, an easier way, or maybe you feel like you've come as far as you can with a certain thing in your life and you want to develop. This is a card of developments, okay? So I would say maybe something as an idea for some of you spontaneously develops. I would run that, to the very end, because I feel that if you're having money-making ideas, for example, they're going to be very lucrative for you. Yes, you're going to invest a lot of time and energy into it, and it may be slow moving at first, but actually things are going to go very well for you, and they're going to be very successful there. But this is a card of evaluation, looking at where you feel dissatisfied. This is a card also of sticking to your plans and, not being afraid to admit to yourself what's no longer working or what needs to be developed on or what you need to do more of, because it is working. So I feel this is a card of assessment right now, but this is also a card of you feeling fed up, dissatisfied. Something feels like it's got to a certain level where you're reaching for more. You're trying to look at the structure of your life, because of course the Hierophant is a structure that we build, something that is traditional. And a lot of you are reaffirming your life philosophy, your traditions, the very core of you. But at the same time, you acknowledge that there's room for experiencing new things or being spontaneous within a structure. Structure doesn't have to be limited. You may be looking at your limitations or perceived limitations as it is at the moment. I mean, in terms of humanity, limitations often are found in the mind, because my guides are actually giving me right now an image, and this image has come up in a reading before, maybe for your sign, I'm not sure, but I'm seeing this image of an experiment that was done with fleas. Okay, now fleas, they jump, and they jump super high, okay, but there was an experiment where fleas were put in a jar, okay, and the jar was open and the fleas were jumping right out of that jar, and then suddenly they put the lid on that jar, and then the fleas jumped as far as they could go, and over time they learnt that that was the limit, okay? So even when the scientific experiment removed the jar lid, as it were, those fleas, they still jumped to the same level. They could have the potential to go higher, but they learnt the parameters of the structure. And of course, in the world at large, we all learn the resources that we have, the structures that we have, and of course, we may feel in those very things themselves, there are limitations. Some people have more privilege than others, for example, more opportunities, and it can be that you're looking at what you have to work with in your life right now, but I feel like you are breaking through a glass ceiling. You're breaking through a limitation to open up to more, to open up to something that you've wished for a long time. And there's a lot of abundance with this card. It's like you will celebrate yourself for conquering it or not limiting yourself in it. And limitations start in the mind. That's why that image was shown to me right now, because it highlights that the fleas have way more potential. They are naturally very gifted at jumping. That's in their genetic makeup to do it. So it can be that your potential is to be creative, it is to be explorative, it is to, be interested in a certain path. There's no limitations on that. People may try to put limitations on you, but the true limitation comes from the mind. If you feel like you can do it, you absolutely will do it. If you feel like you cannot do it, then of course you absolutely will live within that construct. You lose the momentum, as it were, or the inspiration. When you feel like you can't do something, it chips away at your energy. And I feel right now you're on all cylinders. You realize actually whatever you're doing, it's achievable. And the power is within you, and you just had to conquer thought or a limiting kind of structure, and now you are realizing there's so much potential to reach what it is that you aspire to achieve. And we do have circumstances outside of yourself. We've got the Magician. The power of your mind is so important. Thoughts become things. And because you have a Nine of Swords, any sword card is connected to the mind. Okay, it is connected to thoughts. It's connected to words. Words are important as well. Words are spellings. We spell words. They are cast out to the universe to connect to a vibration. So I feel, there's this energy of like an act of rebellion. You're going to be super positive, or that's perhaps you're changing your mindset in some way. You're following through with love. Things that you would love. You're not focusing on the negative. You're focusing on the positive there. And the Magician card indicates your sheer willpower, your vision. It will come to life, and you will manifest whatever it is you aspire to achieve. So the Magician is basically your focus. So you can focus on the worry, you can focus on the negative, but unless, you can do something about it, that is energy that is wasted. So I feel like you're in the flow of setting changes in motion in order to lock onto something you aspire to achieve. It's like you're feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and you're going to be so proud of yourself that you did. Now this card, it literally says willpower, creation, and mastery. So mastering thoughts, mastering yourself, that's actually the most powerful thing that you can do. We should not set about trying to change other people. It is, the change within ourselves that we want to see in the world. And anything you do will actually, vibrate out of yourself and change the circumstances around you. So I feel you're creating a life that you aspire to achieve, and the Magician card indicates you have all the resources within yourself to make that occur and happen. Okay, Magician card is also an energy that, I feel like you're trying to rediscover the magic in your life, that spark, that lust for life, that part of you that you may feel has lain dormant for some time, or you feel was in the past. If you've been in fight or flight mode, especially after the last couple of years, it may have made you focus on the hypercritical or on all the radical changes that have been going on in the world. It feels like you may have lost sight of something, or you feel that you've been on the edge of your nerves in some way with that Nine of Swords, and it's almost like you're recalibrating and coming back to your center and coming back to this sense of like, you know what, I want to have fun. I just want to get out there. I want to be free. I want to let loose. I don't want these restrictions. So I feel a lot of you are rediscovering yourself in this process, especially since we have that Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is literally a mirror, and there's a hand there. It's almost like you're reaching out to yourself in some way to reconnect to a part of yourself that you feel like you've lost touch with, or you feel, your thoughts have changed in some way. You're outgrowing situations and people, and you're different. And you could have found yourself feeling a little bit lost in this process. Remember, when a butterfly, emerges and spreads its wings, it's gone through a process. And you're about to spread your wings and fly and soar and be accomplished in whatever it is you set out to do. But there was a process. And if you think about that little caterpillar, it goes into the chrysalis and it literally dissolves its sense of self. it feels lost. Well, I don't know how it feels. Of course, I've never been a caterpillar in a chrysalis, but, it literally jellifies itself. It undoes the structure, as it were. And you've got that structure there. So I feel a lot of you are looking at structure right now and kind of like remolding, as it were, or redefining who you are. Something big within you has changed. A lot of you, it's the way you think about yourself, about your circumstances, about the world. And I feel that the more you think about something, the more it will be reflected back to you. Okay, so easier said than done, I know, and it's super hard because we are going through a very challenging period in humanity. But the more positive you are, the more you'll start to see more positive things be attracted to you. And of course, the more negative, then you're going to seek out and see more of the negative. It's really random that this is coming through, but I have to honor it because it's coming through. If, for example, you wake up in the morning and you stub your toe and you're like, oof, and you start with the expletives and you're like really cross, you're like, oh, this is just typical. You know what? I got a big day ahead of me. I've stubbed my toe. I'm in pain. Then you start the day off on that kind of thinking. Thinking, well, there's an omen. Everything's going to go wrong. But if you're like, okay, you know what? I stubbed my toe. If I come back to my center, I realize actually, maybe I'm rushing. Maybe I need to center myself and be a little bit more aware of my surroundings. Maybe I need to slow down, be better to myself. Don't be critical. Acknowledge that actually that was a moment. The pain has subsided. And now I'm just going to be a little more positive. It teaches me to slow down and be more aware of my footing. And that doesn't have to be literal footing. It can be symbolic. So I feel a lot of you are changing a pace in order to be a little bit more positive, or changing a mindset. Now, of course, this is in your hope and fear position. 2 wands, you hope that your plans are reachable, and absolutely they are. You have all the cards that highlight they're going to be accomplished. And it says here, planning, making decisions, and leaving home for some of you. Some of you may feel like you're trying to leave a place that you feel like you've been at for some time in order to find home again within yourself, especially if you feel like you've lost touch with a sense of yourself or lost touch with a part of you that you feel like you used to be. That person's still in there, okay? But I also feel a new version of you is emerging at this time, and the two can combine, and actually I feel they will complement each other. But also the fear in this position, of course, is plans falling apart. But also this can be small thinking small, or limiting beliefs. Okay, so I want you to be aware of that. And a lot of you, I feel like you are correcting your thoughts in some way, or may have gone on certain meditative practices where you're trying to observe the inner critic and course correct the thoughts in some way. But I feel if you're worried about plans not going the way you'd hope for, you feel things have been delayed and you just feel like they're unreachable, I feel like the universe is going to prove to you, actually, no, you're going to accomplish something that you felt was impossible. It's only impossible until it's done. And you're someone who, with that Knight of Cups, you're battling away to move forward, to make a difference, to keep your vision alive, and you're making things happen. The Knight of Cups, is actually on a horse where the horse is putting one foot in front in order to move forward. And there's actually a beautiful stream, which means you're being in the flow and you're going somewhere. You feel something about a certain direction that's calling to you right now. And what you do as an action, or the plans that you have in motion right now, because this is a card of ambition, feeling restless, feeling like you have a certain expectation, it's not been met. 2 wands is like, there's a whole wide world out there. Get out there, live it, take that risk, see your vision, calculate your moves, and be spontaneous. So I feel this is about you about to embark on something that actually will start to formulate, and you'll see that vision come to life. Because if you think about the mirror there, the mirror is a scrying tool. It's the vision. It's, the image of what you can see. And then, of course, we have the physical representation of it. I kid you not, many, many years ago, I had a vision of, a place that I would love to kind of live in, and at the time I was like, well, that's going to be unachievable. Don't have the money, haven't got the resources. Everything seems to be falling apart. I kid you not. One day I found myself in a position, a lot of diligence, hard work, but I kind of lost sight of that vision for a moment, but I really kind of had it in the background on a vision board. I'd walk past it every day as I walked through a door, and the vision was there. The vision board was there, and I just see it like in my periphery. So it wasn't something I was like locked on or focused on every day going, I'm going to make this happen. It's going to happen. I just put it up. I really focused on it. I felt it. I believed it. Many years later, when I got to a position of relocating, suddenly I was like, oh my gosh, it looks kind of like the vision on my vision board. And I was actually shocked. And, if you've read The Secret as well, I think there is a person in that book, The Secret, by Rhonda Byrne. And that person says, you know what, they were unboxing lots of stuff in their new place. And their child kind of brought out this little photograph, said, what's this, Dad? And he was like, you know what, that's actually the vision of what I wanted to purchase. And actually that person in The Secret had bought the actual house in the magazine that they'd cut out. Mine wasn't like that, but my vision was like super close. So I feel a lot of you, whatever it is that you're keeping and holding as a vision, you're protecting it, you're moving towards it. And you may worry about it, but I feel like, this is an energy of like overcoming and conquering a fear. Now, my guides helped me reimagine the Five of Swords recently. I mean, there's a history of the Five of Swords, but if you look at the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, Five of Swords, there is a person who basically is looking back, and my guides gave me looking back at aspects of self, the times where things didn't go right, the times where things fell apart. And the swords can indicate thoughts, of course, but also it can indicate that you're taking with you the things that worked, the things that you feel help you on your journey, and you're leaving behind what doesn't work. And it can be that you're distancing yourself from things that cause you tension, cause drama, cause you to second guess yourself. I feel like you're in a process right now where you're outgrowing a part of yourself, the part of yourself that perhaps has gone through a lot of challenge. You're stronger because of it, but you're healing in order to open up to more fun, not experience more trouble ahead. You're not getting stronger just so that you can, be ready for any more conflict or challenge. You're actually learning to heal in order to accept that good things happen to good people, that happiness is going to be your right, that you are going to have the success that you aspire to achieve. But the Hierophant is like, there needs to be a belief in yourself, okay? Now, the Five of Swords can also be unbridled ambition. And it also says here, well, I don't like this word sneakiness because I feel this is not something that you're doing, but I will pull a card on it right now. More than anything, I feel this is your ambition to reach the point that you desire. Maybe it's more independence. Whatever it is, the Hierophant indicates that you will accomplish something that helps you solidify your legacy. The Hierophant is you're learning more about yourself, what you want, what you do not want, what aligns with you, what certainly is outgrown in your life. And I would say the Hierophant is revelation. It's like you leaning in to people who get you or who really see you, appreciate you. You're not wasting your time where you feel like you're not wanted or where you feel like you don't have any connection with people. You're the sort of person who likes to be open and kind of like honoring people's differences or honoring people's viewpoints. But I feel like you're looking at who kind of doesn't resonate with you anymore or who doesn't invest their time in the way that they used to. That's something that's coming out strongly for you. I feel like you're choosing you ultimately. Please clarify this Five of Swords for my beautiful Gemini. What do they need to know about that? We've got the Knight of Swords. You're making some lifestyle changes and choices. Four of Pentacles, to be secure. King of Pentacles, to show up for yourself, to back yourself, to invest in yourself and see your sense of value. So the Knight of Swords, lifestyle changes and choices, but also you're responding differently to your circumstances. This can be a need to broaden your perspective, broaden your horizons, your friendship circle, your environment. You may be leaning into community. For some of you, it can be that you've been wrestling with a certain belief and you're trying to get clarity on it, take stock of it, maybe have a conversation with someone about it, to debate it so that you can see it from a different angle. But the Four of Pentacles is structure and foundation. So it can be that a lot of you, especially with the Hierophant, you're creating security in your life. You're aspiring to more. You're taking ownership and building a solid foundation. And you're invested in the path, but you're invested in yourself. I mean, whatever you're invested in, you're going to grow it exponentially. This could be finances for some of you, but also this could be that, you're in a period of learning and building your life, focusing on what you need, but also what you want, and how those are two different things, and actually how you can have both. Also, the King of Pentacles indicates that you are responsible for your life. You're self-made. You're someone who has a strong sense of duty. You're showing up for yourself. But also, it can be that structure feels a little bit dull and boring sometimes. We got to say it how it is. You work towards something. You're diligent. You're showing up every day. And it can be that you feel a little bit like, okay, I'm really grateful for where I'm at, but I just want a little bit more fun or excitement or movement. You just want to see something a little bit different. So you may be challenging yourself, or you may be trying to respond to a structure that you have in your life to be a little bit more of a risk taker, or be more spontaneous. Find the fun, really celebrate yourself and do something wild. I feel a lot of you are rewilding at this moment in time and really tapping into what you feel would make you happy. Because I feel sometimes we just show up every day, we do life, and we never really ask ourselves, am I happy doing this? So I feel some of you are kind of questioning a little bit. Two of Wands there is questioning. Also, my guides are giving me that for some of you, you may be waiting on results for something. Six of Wands indicates that it's a positive result there. But with the Hierophant, there may be some sort of advice that goes on with that. Five of Swords, it can be that, even if you get some good results on something, it can be that there's also new questions you have. Move forward, ask those questions, and I feel someone in a position of authority can help you, or you're going to get some advice to help you there with that. Now, your final cards, you've got Reward, so that really aligns with, look at this. I mean, these three cards are literally connected to your whole reading. So Reward, now this is something that was hard won. But it says here, you will be rewarded for aligning with your greatest potential. Every step you take towards bettering yourself has been recognized and acknowledged by your angels. Your blessings are on their way, and the road is paved for you to prosper. So again, that's probably why my guides gave me the image of the fleas, okay, that, reaching your full potential without limitation is something that you're aspiring to achieve right now, and you're on course to do that. So keep believing in yourself there. We've got Circle of Love. So this can be something that you love comes right back at you, or it can be you attracting love if you're looking for love, or if you're in a relationship, this can be deepening love. This is unity. But it says here, your angels remind you of the sacredness of the connections that hold deep meaning to your heart. Take the time to deepen your bonds with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. They are your source of divine strength and unyielding support, a circle of love that surrounds you always. So some of you could be leaning into those connections, those commitments at this time to help allay your fears, or even talk, as I mentioned, if you're, with a partner. There's something here, it doesn't have to be a partner. There's something here in your reading about talking your worries through with somebody that you really care about, and really kind of like both of you acknowledging that whilst you may not be going through the same thing, you have similar fears, or there is a unity, and it can be that you lean into each other during, a period of worry, but things tend to work out in your favor or work out better than you thought there. And we also have a new beginning. And this is very much like a new beginning or a new path or something that you're excited to explore, but it comes with anxiety or worry because there's change. But it says here, your energy is fertile and brimming with potential, ready to bring forth new creations. Each moment presents us with the opportunity to embrace our true essence and nurture growth in every aspect of our existence. Let your spirit soar and find joy in every step, for there is a miracle in every new beginning. So that's probably why we got the butterfly energy as well, because there is a new beginning. You are here to soar, to spread your wings, to fly, to reach your full potential. But it may be that there is like a new beginning or something curious that is opening up here for you, and it paves the way to stability, to success, to conquering those intrusive thoughts. It just feels like you're aligning with a new dawn. And sometimes it does get darkest before the dawn, especially with that 9 of Swords there. But the dawn is going to be upon you, and there's some positive things that come out of that too. So I'll leave it there. I mean, this reading was very complex, may not resonate with anyone out there, but I have to honor the reading as it comes. So I'm just going to go and get a trinket for you. Oh, so we have the letter E. Okay, the letter E, maybe this is relevant. If it's not relevant right now, bank it. Maybe it will be relevant in the future. E could be, of course, an initial to elevate. It can be that equality. There's just a random letter there. So I will leave it at that. Maybe some of you will find a random letter, or perhaps you're about to meet your soulmate and the letter E is going to be at the beginning of their name or their surname. Maybe an opportunity is coming on in with a company, and maybe the letter E is going to be relevant there. So I'll just leave it like that, because that's something that's very precise and maybe even just a little bit private to the person that it resonates with. So I will leave it there. I hope something resonates. Also, if you'd like to win the chance to win a free personal reading from me, all you have to do is put an emoji of a candle in the comments box below. And if you don't have access to an emoji, all you have to do is write the word candle, and my guides will draw me to 1 subscriber, and I will announce the winner's name at the end of September. Okay, so I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, my beautiful Gemini, and love and light.